Hello, everybody, and welcome to Aetheryte Radio, Gamer Escape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FusionX, and joining me today, we've got Dr. Mug and Zanidra. How's it going, guys?
Yo!
Yo! Zanidra doing her Macho Man Randy Savage.
I am excited. We should all be excited to be here.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Brother!
So, patch 2.1 notes hit today after the 11th live letter from the producer. There is a lot of stuff in this. Pages and pages and pages and pages and pages. If you printed this thing out, it would make the last Harry Potter book look like a pamphlet.
And if you put it in Microsoft Word, it would all be red underlined. Oh, I didn't say that.
Why is this in here
Cheater.
twice?
Cheater.
What's at the end of the live letter? I think Yoshida made the mention that the notes were handed off like really late for translation or something. It shows, unfortunately, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like it says defiance is a job.
The Marauder adjustments.
Yeah.
There's one where it calls an ability Marauder. I
Nice.
don't think that's an ability.
No. There's a lot of really bad stuff. They need to go back and rehack this, I think.
You think maybe they retyped or they typed all of the prices for housing wrong? Maybe, please.
I wish.
No.
My favorite is that the Lancer skill, increased damage when attacking a target's flank, has been increased from 10% to 15%. Is being changed to increased damage when attacking from a target's flank has been increased from 10% to 15%.
They spelled so many things wrong and have
It's
so
horrible.
much duplicated
It's
text in
horrible.
this. It is just.
And there's the bit about when gathering, you can now see the HQ and NQ amount that you have or something. The Japanese mentioned 0 about HQ and NQ in that same part. So
So we're starting our complaints about
yeah,
all the notes
biggest
we
complaint
just
about
made.
patch 2.1 notes.
Oh, no.
The patch 2.1 notes.
Awesome.
This is
It's gonna be
Realistic.
exciting, guys. I hope you're ready.
you should have saved it a
This is
couple
gonna
days.
Be a great episode. I can.
You should have saved it a couple days. Like Square, you guys, you're Square Enix, all right? You know, this is Realm Reborn, over 1.5 million registered people at this point. Biggest content update coming, and our preview of it is typos, and it's horrible. It's horrible. They should have waited till Monday to fix, just to.
So that they could have somebody spell check.
Well, and there's for that, but then there's a lot of stuff too where, and I can't remember the example right offhand, but it'll say, you know, something changes being made to something, semicolon, nothing. So it's like, I think there was supposed to be something here, guys. So what we're gonna do, because
Save that for the list of.
yeah, right.
list.
Because there is so much stuff in these patch notes, we're not just going to sit here and read them out, because that'd be boring as hell, and we don't want to bore you guys. We're just going to go through, and I think you guys typed yours in order too, right? Kind of going up and down the list. So we kind of
Just shows
ish.
format stuff.
And I know, and some of ours overlap too. So once we hit those, we'll just jump in on it. So what we did is we typed up our likes and dislikes from the patch notes, and we're just gonna go over and talk about them. And then next week, I'm sure me and Mog will probably be streaming throughout the week, and maybe Saturday we can give impressions on the next episode. My biggest thing, this actually my biggest like, one of my biggest likes, started a couple weeks ago when they started doing patch previews. The quest names. We have Quake Me Up Before You Ogamoro, Ifrit Ain't Broke, and Why So Serious.
You're gonna have to give me the actual what they belong to. Because
Quake Me Up Before You Ogamoro is
right?
yeah.
If it ain't
Wake Me Up
broke,
Before
why
You
so
Go.
serious?
Oh, if it ain't broke.
If it ain't broke.
If it ain't broke.
If it ain't broke.
Oh.
And then Why So
Just
Serious?
phrase.
Obviously, you know, Why So Serious?
Yeah. Oh, that's all you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Never mind. I thought that was like a giant list.
Oh no. I love some of the
There is
names
a big list.
from
but
these. Yeah.
They do a good job
He
with
toned
that.
Yeah.
himself down.
Yeah.
They do a good job with that.
I remember because that was from the Primal, the Extreme Primal update, and just reading through the quests. I'm looking through. I'm like, what's this quest name? And I'm just like, I sit there and I'm just like, bravo localization, doing it again. let's go ahead. Let's kind of go around. Michelle, what do you?
Go down the list.
Yeah, Zenidra, what's your first like here?
This time.
Nice.
I believe I typed lol bard nerf, not.
Oh, so you like that they were going to nerf Bard, but ended up nerfing like
everything else?
Stuff and not Bard?
No, obviously that's not what I mean. But I walked into my office room today, and my husband's sitting at the computer. He just turns to me and he's like, "Yeah, they didn't nerf you. Congratulations." Yay! So I mean, that's my big.
Yeah, so let's talk about what they did change with.
I kind of got one of those. Okay, we're gonna talk about Bard.
Yeah, I mean, while
Okay.
she brought it up, yeah. So
you wrote it down. I see it in your list here, actually, about Reign of Death.
Yes.
Can we talk about Reign of Death?
that is the stupidest. Like, it's like they just wanted to eliminate things that make the damage you take reduce. Like that's a couple things.
That's where I'm gonna stop you.
Uh-oh.
Warrior got the ability instead of Bard. Nobody saw this, but actually, it's let me find it here. It's called Storm's Path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Storm's
Which
Path
Storm's
now
Path
is
used to kinda
exactly
suck.
what Reign of Death did.
Okay.
Yep, it does the 10% damage reduction, but now Warrior has that utility instead of
And
Bard.
instead-
So
and-
spread the word, because nobody.
And instead we get what do we reduce like enemy evasion or something by 10%, because accuracy is an issue.
It sure is.
Well, one of my friends-
Square people are in coil and they're still hitting 100% of the time. We don't need any evasion crap.
No, we don't.
So stupid.
Well, to be fair, if people switch things up a little bit and actually did add maybe a little
But
bit more
it's-
skill speed or something,
it's really-
you could technically hit more often. You could have TB song up more often, etc.
If I built full crit on Bard and decided to keep up Reign of Death full time, which lasts 20 seconds, I would lose so much TP, my damage would decrease by increasing my crit determination and so
What I'm
forth.
getting at is if people do try it, like I don't know if it would work, but if it were tried and bards actually kept up TP song more often, yes, it would decrease.
Wait, we have a
damage,
TP song?
but it would smoosh bard back towards the.
Are you talking about Invigorate?
Phoenix is talking about.
Wait, you mean pay? We don't use that. Don't lie to me.
No.
That's not a thing.
Exactly. Bards don't use Payon at all.
No.
Maybe they're trying to push us towards using it, and I don't feel like this is super effective.
If they
but-
wanted us to use Payon, they would have eliminated Invigorate from subclass use. That's what they would have done if they wanted us to use Payon. That's all there is to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So they reduce. I don't get the connection here. How do we reduce our accuracy to increase Payon use? Nah.
It's just a thought. I'm not saying that it would be the prime thing to do. I'm just saying maybe, something to consider.
All right. Yeah. All right, I'm going.
Yeah. What do you got, Mog?
I'm jumping into it. The Party Finder feature.
Ah,
love it.
yes.
Did you look at that thing?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people scrolled
Oh.
past it, but it's like Square Enix stood in Mordana and was like, "Oh my gosh, people are shouting for all these things, and they want certain item level requirements. People are shouting what gear they have. People are requesting certain things, certain roles, and they just stuck it in the Party Finder feature,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. You can put in like minimum item level requirements that you want people. You can see what roles a party is looking for, like visually, and you can.
That's
like,
nice,
make
yeah.
notes, and oh my god, it's beautiful. It is such.
I'm still having like horrible like nightmarish flashbacks to the 1.0 party search thing that like nobody used.
Used it
And you
all.
couldn't tell if it was
Yeah.
just because it was broken or just because nobody used it.
I'm just excited to be able to sit anywhere except Mordana
Yeah.
and do parties for things. That's
Yeah.
just what I'm excited about.
Though Mordona, and this is I think jumping ahead a little bit, they redid Revenant's Toll.
Mm-hmm.
There's some construction
Yeah.
going on. It's expanded a little
Took
bit,
out all my likes.
which is kind of cool.
Damn it. I've only got like 6.
Yeah.
Took one of my likes, man. Took it right out from under me.
But yeah, I was going through, and that's cool to see the world kind of evolving as the story progresses up, which is really cool. Which gives you a little more incentive
Like,
to
I think,
play from the
I think
beginning.
we all kind of agree that it was cool to go from 1.0 and to 2.0 and see how the world itself had changed,
Yeah,
and the fact
and now
that
we're
that's actually
seeing
continuing is pretty
More
sweet.
change, yeah, which is really cool. And I guess that's kind of mine. Were you done with yours, Mog?
Yeah, mine was
Okay.
the...
I'm like paranoid about like
thing.
talking after you now.
I'm just playing with you, man. No, I'm sorry.
If he really needs to get
Continue.
something, he'll interrupt
Do another
you.
one. Your list is long. Do another
Me,
one.
okay. Hildebrand.
Yeah.
Hildebrand's
I'm
back.
surprised that wasn't at the top.
Well, I mean, I'm going down the
He's
list.
He's your man
You
love.
and Hildebrand are
Dude,
best friends.
we're BFFs, man. We go way back.
Have you guys seen that GIF somebody's taken where they put the like Thancred and Hildebrand and the Derplander guy and they're doing the like in the car.
Oh yeah.
I feel like one of those actually needs to be you. So that
That's actual fusion in the back seat.
yeah.
Probably. I'm in the trunk trying to like break free with a crowbar.
Ugh.
All right. All right, Zenitra, what do you got next here?
The big obvious main storyline. I'm really excited to learn more about the freaking world and what happens to these characters and what happens to you.
To me?
No, me.
Oh,
everybody,
you.
Plural
You is me is me is you is. Gotcha.
The main
I've got
characters
a
who
legit
are all of us.
So I went back and did Praetorium the other day, and of course the main protagonist was saying that I was the so-and-so. And I was thinking, who was he talking to in our party? Is it like me? Or is it like the tank? Am I just there helping? Like, is he talking to me, but there's 8 people killing him? I don't get it.
Right.
You know?
Just go with it. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's
Warrior of Light. Wait, singular or plural? Are you talking about these guys too? Because they're kind of,
right.
here with me killing you.
Salvus. There's like 20 billion warriors of light.
Right?
World is
Yeah.
super safe, you guys.
We're good. Nothing will
Like everybody's a Super Saiyan. Let's do it.
nothing bad will happen ever again now that you guys are back. Let's get one more from you, Michelle. You have actually your list is longer than mine is, I think.
I like a lot of little things. I'm really excited about the stupid Primal upgrades, the extreme versions.
Yeah.
My words went away. Because, I mean, Ifrit's kind of almost boring now.
I
It's really
love
fun.
that Ifrit is the hardest one.
Yes, I like that too. It also is sort of a throwback to 1.0
Yeah.
in that. I think I was in the Reinhardt chat this morning and people were like, oh wow, Ifrit's the strongest, who'd have thought, blah blah blah, and I'm like, did you not play the first version?
Well, they have the and I think I mentioned this either on the last episode or to somebody when I was talking to him. Just because it goes, Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, or whatever in the main storyline, that doesn't mean it has to be the same here. And I think because the extreme primal modes, they do tie into the story, unlike Ultima, which is kind of a side thing, which I'll talk about here in a second.
That's actually my next.
I love the way that they're doing that.
Yes.
But now, I mean, it makes sense with the storyline because after what happens in the main scenario, obviously the Exile are going to be really super pissed about Ultima, spoiler, biting Garuda's head off like a fat kid with a chocolate Easter bunny. So they're going to be the ones that are going to summon the stronger Primal first because they were, that whole thing kind of went down on their in their territory. And then from there we go to Titan and Ifrit. But yeah, Ultima is really cool. You want to talk about that one, Zenitra?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
because it was on your list. I'll let you.
It totally is. So what happens is basically that minstrel guy wandering around that we all know is Yoshi P is like, so I'm telling the story, and these guys, and they fought Ultimate, and there were like 5 airships, and they were all crashing at the same time, and he was just doing all these lasers, and there was all this crap happening, and so you do this fight that he's.
So in English, basically you tell the minstrel your fight against Ultima, and what you actually fight, the hard mode, is him retelling it, and everything is heavily exaggerated, and that's why it's more difficult.
So awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool.
That comes up again because that's I think
They could do so much with that. It could just be ridiculous. Could you imagine like a some kind of Moogle Mog thing with the minstrel involved, and man, it's crazy.
I could see them bringing back certain fights from 1.0 like that too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me tell you about this story that happened 5 years ago, you guys. It was so cool.
All right, Mog, what you got?
Mine's not nearly as cool as that, but I like item level being added to your player character sheet and being able to search for other people via item level.
That's nice.
And just that kind of way of measuring where people are in progression, especially for pickup groups. And I'm on my alt sometimes doing coil, and it's nice to be able to know somebody's item level
Right.
before picking them up. that kind of thing.
Yeah, and
I like the system item level.
Yeah, and while we're on that, let's talk about elegant weapons. So they're going from eye level 90 to 95, but in the live letter Q&A they said the stats weren't changing.
Yeah,
What did
it's
they
just
said
to
something
increase.
was changing.
No, it's just the item level,
Yeah.
and it's only to increase
they
the
said
damage.
parameters were changing.
Well, here's the thing on the patch notes they had a list of stuff. It was all the Titan weapons, it was the elegant weapons, and some other stuff, and they said that it showed what item level it is currently, what it's going to be after the patch, and then it said the parameters are going to change. But then in the Q&A summary, it just said for the elegant weapons that the item level was going to change and none of the stats were going to change.
Yeah, I think it's just to increase limit break damage.
That's all it could be, is for limit break. Because if you think, well, okay, yeah, they have the item level restrictions now and stuff. Well, yeah, while that would definitely help having a 95 weapon, you're also have beaten turn 5 if you have one of those weapons, which means you've done coil several times and have a whole bunch of elegant gear anyway, so that one item is going to make or break an average thing for content entry.
What if parameters means weapon damage?
Maybe.
If they adjust the weapon damage on the elegant weapons, I can see that, but it wouldn't be by much. It's 5 levels, so it's
by 1
not
or something.
Even so, in certain cases, it might be something to consider.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. I can't wait to figure out what they did. But we haven't gotten a bow drop in 5 weeks. We've got like 2 axes, a sword, a book, and a black mage wand, which is useless.
Nice.
So, yeah. Hopefully we'll get something good.
I'm going to just combine my next two. The Myth Tome cap increase from 300 to 450. And just kind of availability of tomes now with this patch, because we'll get tomes from Treasure Hunt, we'll get tomes from Roulette, presumably from Crystal Tower and everything else as well. So there's a lot of opportunities to get tomes now, which is good because we can have more. Last thing I want to do is grind WP 20 times or something in a week, something ridiculous.
For an additional 5 more times.
Yeah, and you know what? Also regarding tomes, I don't know if any of you guys had this on here. The adjustments to Amtapor Keep. Like, what was up with that? They're basically like nerfing it after all that trouble they went through to like try and block out speedruns. Now they're reducing the amount of mobs. They're reducing their HP, and then they're reducing the number of myth tomes by 10. Like, what?
Who knows?
I don't.
Gonna do it
are they
now, except for between relics.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
It's gonna come up in Duty Roulette.
I mean,
so
you don't really need to
Maybe.
understand, because the whole bunch of patch notes has a bunch of that in it. I think they're trying to get that across.
Stuff and things and
Just, this is what we decided to do it, and may or may not make sense. Deal with it.
We're not even sure why we did it. We want to change things.
Sounded good at the time.
They have a dartboard. They threw a dart. Oh, it landed on Bard, and they have another dartboard. Oh, it landed on Reign of Death. We'll take that away.
Wouldn't it be weird if that's how they did make Discal decisions? That'd be scary.
Throw a dart and it's
That'd be awful.
and then throw another one and it's nerf, and then it's
somebody hits like the little like red painted thing of cork all the way off to the corner. Ah, crap! We got to remake the game again.
They could do dice instead.
A bullseye on like every one of them. Is Final Fantasy 3.0.
It's like, damn it! I knew we shouldn't have invited him to play darts. All right. Zanidra, what do you got next?
The Drake mount. I already talked about that, but I'm really excited. Like, that's when they started throwing in other mounts in 1.0. I was like, I would really like a Drake mount, and then the fact they're actually doing it.
It's kind of funny. Like, initially they're like, here's a Gubu mount, and then we're gonna have like Ahriman mounts, and I'm like, that's not very, as Yoshi would say, Final Fantasy, right? Like, you get a Chocobo, maybe Magitech, and those are your mounts. But now they're, putting all this other stuff in. I'm a little, I don't know. I think it's the legacy player in me, and I'm sure I'm gonna get hated on for this. Why are we getting a Gubu mount for people in 2.0?
No, I agree, and I like the Gubu mount they're giving to 2.0 players more.
It's like a Julius Caesar Gubu mount. It's got like the little like crown on it.
I just hope that our Gubus are like taller or something.
Yeah, right. Our Gubus are superior.
Like,
our Gubus are heavily exaggerated because they were given to us by the minstrel.
Do you remember the 1.0 live letter where they showed jumping for the very first time? That one had the preview for the Airman mount and the Drake
It
mount.
did.
And we're finally getting the Drake mount.
Did it?
Yep. Yep.
I didn't remember that. Well, either way, I'm very happy about it. That's just something I've wanted.
So, something I'm curious.
Much like the barber shop. Oh, skip them.
Something I'm curious too while we're on mounts is, obviously we had the unicorn mount for healers because healer was a job that they needed people to play for Duty Finder. And back at PAX, I had asked Yoshida if they were going to do any more class-specific mounts, and he talked about, maybe tanks would be next. No mention of a tank-specific mount, and I thought maybe Drake would have kind of filled that gap there, but
maybe that's where it comes from, or did it?
No, it's the mounts are actually from the Beastman quests.
Yeah.
So as you do the Beastman quests, you'll get some kind of points, and you can spend those on things like furniture, special dies, or these mounts. And I think minions are in there too. There's a Sylph and an Almalja minion that you can buy as well from getting that stuff.
Tiny legs. It's funny.
Yeah. All right, Mog, what you?
Oh, how about still on the thing of mounts? How about that? What's it called? The mechanical guy. It's all gold plated.
Oh yeah, and it actually shows you how to get that later down. If you scroll in the notes, you have to get. I think it was 5,000 of the. They're calling them something else now.
Recommendations.
The MIP kind of things, commendations, I think.
Yes.
Voted VIP and Duty Finder.
Basically, you have to not be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Get a gold Magitech. Commendations. Oh, I'm sorry, 500 player commendations. If you get 300 commendations, you get Sovereign Barding, which if you scroll down towards the bottom, it's like a Chocobo King armor or something, which sounds like it could be kind of crazy.
So basically, you just do round robin with your friends.
Yeah, right. 50 player.
It has to be a random Duty Finder in order to do the.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's because it's
anyone.
That's fair, I guess.
The 50 commendations will give you the Princely Hatchling. So you get a little Chocobo King minion thing. I'm curious to see how these look. I love getting new barding and stuff. So there you go. Don't be a dick and get a gold Magitech mount.
500's a lot.
Yeah.
Just something to work on in the background.
Think about if
not
you
being
get
a dick.
3 per dungeon, you've still got to do
Well, that's
100. So
is that how it's going to count, or does it have to be you have to have
it's 1 per accommodation.
One per
You said 500, right?
Oh, that's right.
500.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking you had to like win from a like get the most out of a dungeon, and then that would be
It's, 167 dungeons.
Thanks for fixing my math. I'm terrible.
When did they start adding letters into it?
That's minimum.
Yeah.
Imagine the runs you don't get any, or the runs you get
Yeah.
1. You're gonna end up doing 500 plus dungeons
Right.
to get full player accommodations to get that mount.
I'm going to see it now. Please give me a commendation, and I will give you a commendation. It's going to happen.
Yeah, that will happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be the norm, and I'm going to call this now, that the tank is going to give it to the healer, and the healer is going to give it to the tank. And 2 DPS are going to swap theirs. That way everybody gets one. I'm calling.
That's not even fun.
I'm just calling
It's
how it's going to work.
it's
No, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
Here first.
Actually, give it to somebody who's not a dick.
Yeah, and if somebody's a dick,
then you just give it to somebody else.
Don't vote.
Yeah.
Throw it randomly out
Yeah, if the
there.
tank's being
Right, so if the
stupid,
tank's a dick, then the healer gives it to a DPS, but the tank's still going to give it to the healer because
he doesn't know.
Right, he doesn't know it's not
He
getting
thinks he
his.
got a commendation.
And then he can't do anything about it because they're probably from different worlds anyway.
Yeah, right.
He's gonna write their name down and they'll have a big blacklist going.
Alright. I think Mog, you're up. What do you got here?
Oh my gosh, the PvP. It looks so good. I've got to like all the other stuff I have gripes with, just little gripes, not too big, but like the PvP, I don't think I found anything I don't like about it. They're increasing server capacities so that the positioning update is faster. They have a ton of PvP only abilities so that PvE isn't affected by the PvP skills. The ranking, you level up as you go through it. There's a ton of PvP gear. Oh my gosh, it looks really good.
Looking at the PvP gear, going along with that, I noticed in the picture they gave us that the bard was wearing the lion armor head. And looking through the list, they list like the weapons obviously as archer arm, blah 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 arm, but none of the gear itself had a job next to it. So maybe it's all interchangeable.
Or maybe they did a horrible job with the patch notes.
That could be too. However, the bard is wearing the lion head. So that's either like a vanity thing where you can totally cross-class stuff from other classes, or you can literally wear it on any class.
Yeah, either way, doesn't matter to me. I'm just excited about the whole thing. They just did a really good job with it. At least
I love the armor. The armor looks really cool. And if you go, along with the patch notes today, they also posted previews, like they have been for stuff like the primals and the side quests, for Beast Tribe quests, the PvP. There was something else, but they actually have pictures of 2 different armor sets. In there, there's the blue set they show, and there's also the white one, which I think is probably what we saw in the trailer that they put out last week. So,
they do look really good.
Yeah.
Except the weapons in one of those images is the giant skull weapons from 1.0.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of crappy.
Well, maybe they're not actually a giant skull. Maybe it's just the same skin.
Yeah.
It is the same skin, but reusing assets makes me kind of sad.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the gear is for PvP is the same.
Could be worse.
But you
We
can
could be always walking into the same cave when we're out
That's so true.
wandering
I
around
just passed that rock
over
already. What is
and
happening?
over and over. Is this like the Lost Woods from Zelda? I keep seeing this cliff. Do I need to go left instead of right?
I had a thought. We totally should have started with the things that we don't like, so that we can.
The whole second half of this show is gonna be like super negative.
We're just gonna forewarn that there is more good than bad.
Yes, there is. There's.
So the end result.
I only have, and it's probably stuff that people could call right now if they wanted to. Everybody knows.
Like a short list of big
Everybody
things versus our long list
knows.
of little things.
Yeah. All right. Next up on my list here, I already talked about Revenant Soul. Dragoon updates. All the DOTs for Dragoon are getting potency increases, which is awesome. So.
I put the class adjustments and rebalancing on my reserving judgment list because like all of it, I'm gonna wait to see how they play before.
Sure.
I mean, no numbers.
On paper, higher numbers is good. Like they didn't take anything away. It's just here's a couple extra numbers for potency. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. That can't hurt anything.
Yeah.
So.
Good one.
I thought it was. I don't know. I like Durg. I'm going to talk about Durg. Right.
You?
Go on. I'm jumping in.
Uh-oh.
Fix-its to Odin and Behemoth. I don't know if it's on the list, but they said it was coming in this patch. And being able to see Odin and Behemoth. I know it's not on the list, but I know it's coming. They setting it for this patch already previously.
Yeah.
So it's on my list of things I
Well,
like for this patch. It's not in the patch notes.
Other things that they didn't add that I think need to happen. All that turn 2 stuff with the white mages.
Oh my gosh, the enrage method.
Yes. I want them to fix it, not tell anybody, and kill a bunch of white mages.
I want it to be that every pulse does subsequently more damage. Like the first one's 1,000, the next one's 2, the next one's 4, and then basically you just die at the fifth pulse. That's the way I want to see it.
Yeah. Didn't they?
And now all of the white mages across all servers hate me.
Didn't they change the Odin Behemoth stuff earlier, or were they saving that for 2.1? Because I remember they talked about it a while ago.
Yeah, but it's coming in this patch, I believe, and being able to see Odin Behemoth all the time. Oh my gosh.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Yeah, it may be that they don't.
I'll be curious to see what happens, because I mean I know when they talked about it originally, they said how they can't do that for everything. It's just because the way stuff is coded. It's kind of like a special case for each fate where they got to go in and say, all right, this mob has priority. But yeah,
all right,
that should be nice.
Okay, I'll reserve that one. That one's on the back burner of stuff I hope that they really, really hope they do that they said they were going to do that they didn't put in the patch notes.
That was in there.
It's a really
that was in there.
Really long sentence.
Yeah.
No, the Odin Behemoth priority was in there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or was it?
Okay, good.
It was.
Never mind. It was really.
It was totally in there. Trust me.
Okay, I believe you.
Okay.
I trust you.
That means a lot. All right, since Mog jumped in there, Zanidra, another like.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know. I've never really experienced people going into an instance and just chilling at the entrance, being like, "You guys have fun," but on the off chance that it happens, they've added it so if somebody is inactive for 10 minutes, you could the duty will just kick them. You don't have to kick them.
I've been in I think it was an AK party fairly early on where the tank or the healer thought that somebody wasn't good, and so they basically said, "I'm going to AFK until like somebody leaves."
That sucks.
And yeah,
I mean, I just realized this is a cool thing, but they're adding it so people can kick now too.
right. And that was
So it's almost useless.
and something else with that too. If you leave a duty, there's that like 15-minute penalty before you can rejoin Duty Finder. They
now it's 30.
Now it's 30. Yeah, they're bumping it up another 15. So
Do not leave your Duty Finder groups.
don't be a dick.
They're really cracking down.
Yeah. You have to wait longer, and then you won't get your gold Magitech mount. So just be nice to everybody. It's not hard.
Be nice. Yeah.
All
It's a
right.
small one, but there it is.
Reduce time for immobility after raise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the invulnerability for a moment.
So many times I'll be in something, and I'll get raised. Yeah, Titan's a good example, where I'll get up, and as soon as I just start hovering up above the ground, I'm dead already again. So
You get plumed or you get punched off.
something
or
happens,
something
and you're
else.
just like, I hate this game so much, and why, it's horrible. So
They also need to work on the person who's actually like using a limit break.
Yeah, they can't move for an incredibly
Yeah.
long amount of time, especially the raise one. You're there for a solid 10 seconds, and it feels like an eternity.
you're like, guys, I'll make you a deal. I'll raise all of you up, but I won't heal you afterwards because I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, something else. Doing Shintani the other day. We actually used the healer limit break, had full healer limit break, used it. Everybody was up except the 2 people who were out of the range of it. How do they have an arena that is larger than the range of a limit break? The healer limit break. What the crap?
That's pretty lame.
Yeah.
That's one of those things, like, I wonder if it was just kind of like an oversight, because that's, like,
Huge oversight.
that's no good.
So, like, your party
know,
needs to
it's
be
a
within,
Yeah.
100 yalms.
Yeah.
It is a big arena, though.
It's a very large arena, but seriously, you can't help
Yeah,
where people die. It needs to cover the whole arena. Maybe it shouldn't be a range thing. Maybe it should be like, pick up the players in the party wherever they are.
Does the tooltip show that it has a range? I think it just
I
says
do
if
not.
you're in your
I don't know if... I don't think the limit break tooltip showed a range.
Yeah, it doesn't, so they need to fix that.
Yeah.
Or they just need to make it so if you use it during a fight, that it raises everybody.
Yeah. No range, just raises everybody.
Well, that could be
I could
broken, though.
It would be awesome, though. So somebody dies, you're in a party of like 4 people, and you all queue up for PvP, but one of them stays out, and you got a full limit break bar. Oh, it wouldn't work with 4, would it? But in 8-man
Yeah.
PvP, 1 sits out. So they queue up, and 7 get in, 1 extra person sits out, and the person that's sitting out has a 3-bar limit break, and they pug another person. Everybody dies in PvP, and then you raise them from another zone.
I don't think it'd work like
Yeah,
that.
I broke-
That's a little extreme.
I
You'd
know.
have to be in the same instance.
Oh,
The
so
other-
now
the
you're
other
playing
thought is
restrictions.
Yeah,
Not just their
well...
party. Oh, okay. I'm just playing.
I mean, you could have an 8-man raid or something. White mage dies, goes back to home point. Everybody else in there dies, but you have a full limit break, so he could pop that outside. I mean, there's stuff that obviously wouldn't work, but to have it just encompass the boss rooms, I don't think that's too much to ask. So
Yeah,
Huge oversight.
yeah, definitely.
that's funny. I didn't know that.
I do, and knowing is half the battle.
Whenever somebody dies in our Twintania run, we run into the purple shit.
We usually
We
do,
just-
but it
just
was...
run
All right, game over, guys.
Yeah, just try to get.
It was at a point where we were all kind of like, most of these things are dead and it's kind of calm. Let's do this anyway and see how it goes. And everybody's like, yeah, we're up except for those 2 people over there. That's really stupid. And then we all ran into the purple shit.
Nice. All right, Mog, what else you got for us?
I have a couple little ones, okay? Because they're not as good as that
Sure.
stuff. Inventory sorting, finally.
There are a lot of ways to sort your inventory.
There
There's-
is, but,
it's all text
because
commands.
They screwed up bags. We have 4 independent bags, and sorting them is an issue because it's not one large bag.
Yeah.
Procedurally, it's 4 independent bags, and so that's why they have so many. Anyway, names will now be visible from a greater distance. I like that a lot. I know that seems really weird, but I'm so sick of only being able to see the people in like this 5 yalm area around me, especially in towns. And then, yeah, those are my two like meh ones. So you can go next because I got good ones.
You're
we can
allowed.
Amount of statuses that can be inflicted on NMs and bosses has been increased from 30 to 60.
No.
What?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, we did.
No, because I go after Mog. Isn't that how?
No, you cheat.
Whatever.
Yeah, you did.
Whatever.
But he went after you.
Whatever. I already said it.
I'm just giving you crap for something.
Just go with it. I think this will be really nice on Odin Behemoth Fates, now that we can actually put more status effects on them. And a lot of people, especially if they go like Summoner, they don't even bother with DOTs, which is kind of like Summoner's thing, just because there's so many people and it'll get overridden so quick, there's no point in doing it. So
I've got a really funny story about that. So remember last episode how I told everybody if you want to get gold on Titan, I mean on Odin Behemoth, you Summoner? You should have seen our friggin' like last 4 or 5 Odin Behemoths. They were just Titans
well, and
everywhere.
it's funny because right after we recorded that show, I think Odin popped and we went out and like within minutes of us finishing that last episode. It was great timing.
Yeah, and it's so funny because now that everybody's doing that, less people are getting gold because people understand that, and so it brings everybody else down kind of in their ranking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So it's so funny. So what I did was I switched to Bard, and my damage was so high in comparison to the summoners that I got gold. So like, there's this ever-rotating like best.
This is like a teeter-totter. You just go back and forth.
Exactly. So I'm gonna just tell everybody like go summoner, and then
Go not Summoner. And
Bard and getting gold again more.
this week I'll be doing Bard. Next week I'm doing Summoner, so you should all play something else. Alright.
So go Bard if there's a lot of summoners, and if there's a lot of Bards, I'm pretty sure you should probably go like White Mage because they're all gonna die.
That sounds about right, yeah. Alright, Zanidra, what else you got?
Did we talk about tombstones already? I feel like
We did.
Yeah.
Tombstones. Blah, blah. I'm just gonna go to the barbershop because you know me.
Barbershop. I'm sure I'll play around with it a little bit. I don't know.
I have spelled it bar.
Bar.
Other effing shop. I was very excited. we all know this.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this since the start of 1.0 when they promised it to us.
It's because you want your lightning hair, right?
No, I'm never using the lightning hair ever.
I'm using it.
I'll probably yeah, right. I'll go and I'll get the lightning hair, take a screenshot, change it
really
back.
just want regular, stupid, like slightly curly, long hair. That's all I want. And Highlanders have it now.
Yeah.
I know. Everybody and their mother on Makote is gonna have those curly pigtails though.
Yeah.
Because they're adorable and people love adorable things.
It's true.
I'm like, good, you have that, and I will be finally unique in my corner by myself. It's very difficult to be a unique Mikote, let me tell you.
Yeah. Let me tell you what.
Yes. But I'm glad it's not just limited to hair. It's cool that you can do other face paint and stuff as well.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, me next. No longer losing food.
Yes.
Yes.
That's so simple, but it's gonna save me billions.
All the culinarians are sitting there going, crap.
Yeah, they get nerfed and they're sad.
Yeah.
But I'm happy, you know. And on that kind of same note, but not really on that note, I'm gonna do another one too. The free company buffs for getting rank
Yes.
7 or 6. The tier 2s of a lot of them, especially one where like it increases the duration of food and reduces teleportation costs. by
30%. Yeah, that's
for it.
awesome.
So good. Yeah.
But it sounds like you might be able to have more than one up. As
You think a tier 1 and a tier 2 at the same time?
I don't know how they're gonna do that, or maybe it's just 2 at a time, but maybe you can't stack like a 1 and a 2. I don't know. But it sounds like it's gonna have it so you can have at least 2 up. Is how I read it.
I hope so, because it would be really
Yeah,
cool.
increases the maximum number of inactive and active company actions.
To how many? Does it say?
No.
Damn.
I'd assume 2 though, like it would just go up 1. They don't want to make it OP or anything. So.
Yeah. No, that's awesome though.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm adding that on there. That's so cool because the teleportation one we use a lot because it saves a lot of money in the end.
Yeah.
But also adding the food one, for instance, that's gonna be
right.
super
And depending on what we're doing, like there was a couple weeks there where everyone's like Chocobo, and so we had the companion XP1 up there. So.
Yeah, we had like that whole 2 weeks of just Chocobo. XP as a free company buff.
Yep.
We'll do a rotation where it's like, oh, Saturday is crafting day, everybody.
There you go.
Craft.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. All right, next one I have a lot of people, and I don't know if you guys saw this discussion, the Garuda hard mode where when she spawns the ads, there's the 2 lines, and people were having problems telling the 2 lines apart because they had colorblind issues. So now
sometimes they didn't even spawn.
Yeah, and so now the red line is a dashed line, so it'll be easier for those people to tell that apart. I thought that was kind of cool.
I think they fixed in a smaller update. They fixed where the lines wouldn't show up, but I do think it's a good idea. They modified one of the lines.
Yeah, it's one of those little things where the community comes out and they say, hey, like we can't do this because we're colorblind. Can you guys tweak this? And Square Enix is like, you got it. And so that's nice to see.
Oh, my turn. Something that I thought was kind of cool, but at the same time is lackluster, is the furniture you can just buy from your grind company.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have capsules. Yeah, exactly. I have capsules, and I have for a while. And there's nothing else that is worth buying for me, and yeah, I can just buy furniture. But where am I gonna put it?
I'm just gonna start putting my furniture in Ulda, like in the road, and just claim.
Well, they have the like those refugees outside the gates. Why can't you just plop a hammock down out there with them?
Hand them a bunch of couches, and they can sort of stack them like an igloo, and then they'll have a house.
Make a house out of like glowing Garuda couches.
Yeah.
Or just a bunch of random.
It
things,
even has built-in AC.
And a Moogle head and a Titan lamp, just a whole bunch of stuff just stacked for them. That's what I'm gonna make my house.
That's awesome.
Alright. I'm gonna add another one because I have 5 billion. Actually, yeah. The fact that dungeons give more XP now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's nice.
That's how it should be.
So sick of bait grinding. That is not how any MMO should be leveled. No. You should go to a zone and then like shout for these random things that are happening in the zone and then just go do them over and over again. That's not how MMOs work.
Nobody even does leaves for experience, really.
What's leaves? What are those?
Exactly.
I've had 100 of those since day one, and I still do.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done any of them.
They're good for crafting, but for leveling, it's
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go fake grind over here and get 300 billion.
I would love being able to get more XP out of dungeons. When I was leveling up my my Arcanist and I got to Longstop, obviously once you get there, there's all the really cool looking armor sets. There's the battle mages and stuff like that. And I wanted to keep doing it to get the battle mages gear, but between doing that, I'd get kind of bored, and then I'd go out and fake grind. And by the time I actually started getting these pieces, I was like ahead of that. So they were useless to me by that point. So if I can just go in there and XP on that dungeon only, and actually get good XP, then obviously better chance of getting those drops and getting them when they're relevant, which would be nice.
On a similar topic, I'm gonna do like Mog's Corner of Awesome Tips like once a week. So I didn't figure it out, but there's an awesome way to power level that kind of falls in line with the whole leveling system thing. If you hop on a level 50 white mage and you have somebody that's level 1, and you stay outside of the party, and you have the level 1 just go claiming monsters like mad, just bio, and you have regen on them, all those mobs are gonna go to the white mage.
That's true.
And then you just holy them down. And so I leveled somebody in our free company from 1 to 15, and I shit you not, like 15 or 20 minutes. 1 to 15. It was just like the quickest, like so that you could unlock white mage on
Right. Wow.
That was actually
XP ever.
That was actually a method some people used in 11, like almost exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not a new thing, but it works really well with white mage and just claiming and regen.
Interesting.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody.
What you got?
Use the nifty tips. That's your turn, silly.
My turn?
Isn't it?
Sure, I'll go.
Right.
My turn.
Mug just talked. I'm confused.
Yeah, Mug did just talk.
I didn't go though.
Whatever.
But I didn't pick it. Okay.
No, go. You can go. It's fine. I just
okay.
confused.
I think that's all I got anyway.
After all that, I'm gonna go then. Damn it.
Teleporting now shows the zone name.
Yeah. So many times I have to open up my map and go through. Okay, which zone is this Aetheryte in? And I always feel so stupid when I do it.
It gives you the little symbol. You at least know what like area it is.
It's like, okay, it's in Lenosia. How many zones are in Lenosia? How many Aetherites are in each
know.
zone? And yeah, I should
know.
just know. Not everybody is as good as you are. All right.
Thank you.
No, that was an insult because you're memorizing all these things in a video game instead of important things for real
difficult.
life.
It's not difficult.
Just sit here and talk about the patch notes.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Jeez, fun.
All right, my next one here. They've changed some of the requirements for achievements. One of these changes is for the Grand Company crafting. I think it's the earring or one of the rings. It went from 5,000 turn-ins to 500, which makes it a lot more attainable, which is awesome.
People that have it are pissed.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well,
There's going to be people pissed about it, whatever they do, so...
Not if they increase it.
let's not be mean to each other. Remember, be nice, get your commendations.
I hate all of you.
Alright, so I'm gonna just smush these three things together because they're small. I like the additional emotes and stuff that they're adding because I like
There's a
those.
throw emote that you can... You
Yeah.
gotta quest it.
Like the snowball. I'm excited.
Oh, is that what it is? It's a snowball?
I'm sure it's similar.
It could be, yeah.
really miss-
I remember
I
the
miss the
snowball
snowball.
emote,
It was
yeah.
so much
I remember
fun.
that. I forgot all about that.
Snowball's awesome. I'm really excited for Starlight.
Yeah,
so I
that's
can
what, the 18th? I think it starts
I think so. Like 4 days.
pretty close after the patch, yeah, like a day or two.
Really fun. And then I want more colors of dye, specifically blue.
There you go.
Just yay, more dye. That's cool. And then they
I want more
showed us
things
some.
to die. Sorry.
Yeah, that too.
You can dye furniture.
They showed us. Yeah, they showed us what's it called? Some more pets. I want a baby coral like
Tonberry
robots or
minion. They have the if you scroll down towards the bottom of the patch notes, they have some of the items and the descriptions. The Tonberry says now with 100% less rancor.
Oh, cute.
I
I also really want the puppy and the bluebird that nobody knows where it's from.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna say, let me find these here.
But those weren't on there, I don't think.
There's the buffalo calf, milk fed until tender and juicy. Not that anyone would ever think of eating him. Let's see. Tiny bulb. Some questions, such as why this bulb can walk, are best left unanswered. Wolf pup idolizes one Gaius Van Balser for obvious reasons.
Oh, so the puppy is in there.
Slime puddle. Fun for the whole family.
What? Well, maybe it's like a Double Dare reference.
Wind up sylph, if it could speak, it would be in third person. But yeah, a bunch of new minions. So we still don't know where to get the damn bluebird.
It's not real.
I might just email Yoshida and be like, Yoshida, where do you get this thing?
Just get back an email with a bunch of W's in it.
www. Hi. It's like, thanks.
Alright, Mag. You still have nothing?
You got anything else? I'm done
No.
with my list.
No, I'm done. I'm happy with the overall tone of the patch. I think
I
they
guess
did a
this is
good
the
job.
me show now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy that the blacklist option is going to be added to the character name subcommands. So I can, friend somebody or invite them to my party or put them on my blacklist so I don't have to type blacklist add.
I just made a macro to blacklist the last person that sends me a tell.
Now I don't have to spend my time making your silly macro.
All 2 seconds of it to just have to
Yes.
click on over and over.
Yes. Okay, what else? Pressing the confirm button with nothing targeted will now prioritize the selection of near targets. That's just a small thing most MMOs have that you sort of get used to having, and then
Sure.
when you in the back of your mind do it in 14 and nothing happens, you're like, all right, and then you have to go through the slate process. So it's just a small thing, but I like it.
Yeah.
Also a small thing. If you catch your camera on a table or a light or something and it pops in front of the thing, you have to scroll back out to get your camera completely scrolled back out, which is kind of annoying in things like Titan,
Sure.
whatever.
My most annoying camera thing is turn 2 when I go to fight ADS, because just where because we have we all kind of line up for rot, and where I am, I'm by one of the walls. And so I get in there, and then the barrier goes up, and my camera just zooms me right in. And it's usually right when I'm trying to drop flaming arrow, so I totally like get all crazy with it. And
Yes. You get that lovely.
That's the only reason turn 2 is hard. It's because the area is so small.
yeah, it's tiny. Yeah.
And my last thing, when you hit scroll lock to get rid of your UI elements, the targeting rings and target lines and aggro lines will go away. So your screenshots, if you're looking at a different character, don't look stupid.
It's good to know.
Yeah. It's like it's such a tiny thing, but it's so nice. I can have my character's head turned in a lovely pose, looking at somebody else, and there's not going to be some stupid lines.
On that same note, if you hit the F key now, you don't turn to face your target. Your head turns to the target. Did you see that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Same idea. Awesome.
It'd be funny if your back is turned to him and you do like an exorcism thing where your head just like flips around.
Ugh.
I've accidentally come across that a few times where if you have something targeted and they walk like over one of your shoulders, your head will do like a one.
Yeah, one of those
and
weird.
It'll be almost 180.
Well, if you guys
Especially
remember
on
the, I think it was the Tokyo Game Show trailer. It showed a lot of like early, like rough footage, and there was the one where the Makote all of a sudden her head just like turns to the side, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?"
Exorcist.
Yeah, right. It's gonna start throwing up pea soup on everybody.
All right, I guess.
Is that all? That's all our positive stuff. So let's just get this one out of the way. This is gonna be the big one. Housing. What in the hell with the housing pricing? Originally, they were talking about how they wanted to have the price the same across all worlds, and then now that's not the case. They've actually split up all of the worlds, I think in 5 categories based on the amount of gil that's currently in circulation. So let's start with the cheapest. This group, I'm not going to mention everybody in these groups because there's a lot of servers.
Anyway, just say it ranges from 4 million on the cheapest new server to 600 and what?
25.
Well, let's go by size
That
though.
is 6 billion.
Let's
gil
go
in
by
one
size
thing.
though.
Okay.
And there's different plots too. And do we know what the difference is for the plots? Is it just like location or something?
Yeah, it's the location of the zone.
So let's.
It's like a crappy view. The DC
Yeah, so let's just.
the one that's like behind another house.
Yeah. So for a 5th class plot, which is like the worst plot, small. It starts at 4 mil, goes up to 40 mil. Medium goes from 15 to 150 mil. And then large goes from 50 mil to 500 million. That's a lot of gil. I don't know where Square Enix is getting these numbers from.
I hope they're not including like RMT money in the figures because
they have.
Well,
to be.
that's the thing. I have a feeling that all they're doing.
nobody has this money. Nobody, and I'm not saying this like because I know some people just craft and just do that stuff and just make money, but those people, they probably still don't have 500 million gil. And I realize it's supposed to be accumulation of all the people in your free company.
Right.
But the people that have that money are not going to spend it on the freaking housing because they got to that kind of money by being a penny pincher and by saving their money. I mean, how do you think they got that rich? They didn't do it by spending money, and they're not going to buy a house with it. These houses are not going to get sold.
Well, initially, it's part of the disappointment, I think, is that Yoshi promised us that just a couple of people in a free company leveling together would be able to purchase a plot of land just from main storyline quest money, you know?
That's true. I had forgotten about that. Yeah, and
I got banned from the forums for saying that with one bad word earlier today for 4 hours. Yeah,
nice.
I said 3 friends from 1 to 50 my ASS. and it got deleted and I got banned for 4 hours.
Nice.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's true, though. That's true.
I see why they would do that, because if not, they might end up with a bunch of free companies that, disband and
Well, that's fine, because then their houses will end up going away and stuff. But you can't disband a free company when you have property owned.
They can't?
No.
Nope.
Well, then what the hell?
They've already said that if you don't use the house, they can commandeer it. So
Good.
how is this bad at all? Like, so it disbands and they take the
The
house
biggest
back.
problem
So
is I think when they were looking at Gil, and this has been a thing for since they announced housing is the pricing. How much is it going to cost? And every time Yoshida's answer was, we're examining the economy carefully. I don't get that impression at all, but what I think probably happened is they just looked at every world and said, okay, how much gil exists on this world? And they said, okay, this is how much housing will be. And
Can I say,
I don't think they
totally called this last week. I totally called this. Like, we spoke about this specifically, that they would not say how much it was going to be because it was going to be so exorbitant that the economy would crash because nobody would be selling or buying because they were saving every penny they could for this housing. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And now the economy is going to go to complete crap as of 2.1. And actually, it's starting right now if you take a look at items on your server, because everybody is saving all of their money. Nobody is buying at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
What really
ruined
gets
the
to
economy
me
with this.
is that they actually made housing different prices on different servers. That's just not fair, regardless of legacy or not.
Yeah.
They already took our money to 10% of what it was to try and make it up to.
Yeah, they already reduced our money. That's the part that
Yeah, why do we have to get kicked in the face? Actually, you know what? It's not even Hyperion's not legacy, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's NA Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
I don't understand. The only thing that I don't understand is the whole point of this is to reduce gil from the economy. That's the only point
Right.
of this. Obviously it's for content as well, but it's supposed to be a money sink to remove that money from the economy, first and foremost. And who at SE didn't think that if we sell twice as many houses at half the price, we'd remove all that same money, but more people would get housing and they would be pissed off at us because we couldn't do content that they freaking put out.
Yeah.
So, like, why can't we just have cheaper houses with more instances and, make everybody happy, and maybe we could all do something here in this content instead of the top 1%.
That's
This
the
is
biggest
so-
issue right now. On Hyperion, and obviously I'm going to mention Hyperion because I'm on Hyperion. It's 20 million gil to get the cheapest thing, the cheapest house. Right now I'm sitting at like 400k. That's kind of 400 and 500 between there is kind of where I've been sitting. It's not, I don't have a huge use for money right now, so I can get a little food here and there. I can go do some crafting crap and make a little bit back. It's not a huge deal for me. It works out fine.
1.0.
Yeah.
We should reiterate. So you had a little bit of money.
Right, yeah.
Not like a lot, but
Yeah,
you had some
it got scaled down. I think I started with like 425k, something like that.
I just want to point out, it would take 40 of people like you to buy the smallest.
Yeah.
house. 40.
Yeah, that's nowhere
All of your
near
money.
what the projection was originally.
And that's the smallest house.
Yeah.
And that's
If you had 40 people
all your
in the
money.
smallest house,
Yeah.
it would be stupid looking.
Yeah, so
Well, I saved up a lot. I played 1.0. I had a decent chunk of change. I've got 13 mil, 14 mil right now, or something along those lines. I did make some money in 2.0, so I get a little bit. But 14 mil, if we wanted to put what I made into our free company and try and do that math for like maybe a medium-sized house, what's the medium go for? In
75.
75 mil. We would need what? 5 people with all of our money, and I played 1.0 and specifically focused
Yeah.
on money. And that's ludicrous.
yeah, and
That's just
the
so
problem
much
is, and it's funny because
money. I penny pinched to make 13 million.
it's funny to me because a lot of people are coming in to 14 saying, oh, relics are too easy to get, and all this stuff is too easy. And I've always been saying that, I don't say it's easy, I just say it's accessible. This content with housing, this is not accessible. You want people to get in and have fun and be able to enjoy the content you're putting out. This is the exact opposite of that.
If they wanted this to be accessible and they're like waiting for the pricing to get down to like half price before people actually end up buying this in 90 days, they could have just put housing in last patch so that now we could finally freaking buy
Well, and the problem,
because no one would have bought it last
right,
patch.
and that's the other problem too. It's new content, and it's no secret that a lot of people are getting bored of the game right now because they're in coil and there's nothing else for them to do. And so you don't want to introduce content that they're going to get into right before, a couple months before the next patch. Like, you want to be able to get them into that right away, I would think. And then that way they can play with that, for that whole duration between these two patches. But I don't. It does. I don't.
Okay,
I don't
so-
get it.
This is so silly. It's completely inaccessible to 95% of the player base. It is in an attempt to remove the guild from the economy, just pissing off 95% of the people in this game. And it's a lot of time and effort they put into this content that nobody is going to see for at least 90 days.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm upset about this.
No, I am too. I was really looking forward to
We've
housing.
been looking
Yeah.
forward to for a very long
Yeah.
time, the housing. It was teased before the game even came out, 2.0 anyway.
Yeah.
And now that we finally get it, it's basically like if everybody in my free company pooled every single guild that they've got and then farmed for months, maybe we could afford the large size house that we thought maybe we'd be able to
Yeah.
get. But do you know how much time and effort that is? That's thousands and thousands of hours from collectively.
Well, the
For
biggest
a single game item, and that is completely
the
absurd.
biggest problem is however they gathered this data, they didn't do it how they should have.
No.
With
They should have shaved off the top 10% and then done
well,
that.
and here's the thing, right? We're talking about how much money we have. Obviously, you played more than I did with 1.0, so you have like 13 mil. Small house 20 mil, large house 250 mil. I don't know, where they're getting their metrics from, but who the hell has this money? Because it's nobody I know.
No. I don't know a single person with more than like 70 million. And 70 million is conservative.
really high.
In that person, that is very high. That is the person that I know with the most money, and nobody has anywhere near that person.
Yeah.
And that person has that kind of money because all they focus on is single player content and making money. So if you as a player focused on only Gil for, at this point, 3 years?
Yeah.
You can make yourself 70 million, or maybe if you're really good, 150 million, and the housing costs 5 times somebody's complete dedication to this game and only making money for 3 years. It's
I'm actually sitting
Yeah.
here typing crap up on my calculator,
it's
and
a
it's
slap in the face.
And
It's ridiculous.
Agnybot in the chat here says they're increasing money game in 2.1, and that's true. But again, that's content now. That's with editions now, and the content's coming out now. You want people to be able to enjoy the content now, not have to farm this other content for months and months and months to enjoy the
I can
content.
understand. I can understand that this is supposed to be content that's supposed to be long term. So
Sure.
they want to put this out now, and they want you to have something to work towards, which is fine. We should have long-term goals and stuff that is very difficult
Right.
to attain in this game, which is large housing, medium-sized housing for a full free company. Very good. I appreciate that. That's excellent. That's how content should be put out. They should have told us these prizes 6 months ago so that we could freaking start working towards it then, instead of now when nobody's going to have this housing for 6
Well, and
months.
you look back to when they were making going back to Amtapur Keep, they added the money drops because Yoshida said we want to get more money into the economy because it's all kind of low right now, and then we're going to evaluate that and judge the housing based off of that. And it's, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I ran a decent chunk of Andapur Keep and Wanderer's Palace and stuff. Yeah, I don't have it anywhere near 20 million.
This is funny. People are justifying the drops from Amdapur Keep and the repeatable dailies as money that's going to be used towards your free company housing. Let's do a little pretend math for a second. So you go do an AK run. Let's say you get all of the drops in there, the bronze or silver elegant pieces that drop, and you make, let's say, 5,000 gil conservatively. I mean, that's actually exaggerating a little bit. Let's say you make 5,000 gil and you go in there, and an AK run takes you 15 or 20 minutes. You do some math. See how long it takes you to get to 1 million gil in AK. If you just do AK runs over and over and over and over again, you're looking at several, in the order of, what is this, at 5,000 gil, 500,000 gil would be 100 runs, right? So you'd have to do 100 runs at 20 minutes. That would be 200, no, that's 2,000 minutes to get 500k. I don't know the math for hours for that.
Yeah, too long is the answer you're looking for to get a house.
If you had a free
That would
company,
be 33 hours to get 500k gil from AK.
Yeah.
This is not feasible.
No.
so if you had, just small math, if you had a free company of 86 people and all 86 people were willing to give the free company 10k a day of their money for a year, you would have enough for the best house on my server.
The game's been out for 3 months.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know about you, my free company doesn't have 86 people, yours might.
if you wanted a large house for your free company and you were capped members, 512 people, let's say they all played, more than Fusion, by the way, and they
Ouch.
had 1 billion gil each.
Yeah.
Still wouldn't have enough for a large house.
Yep. It's crazy.
So yeah, it's a lot of money.
And that's Wedgie Warehouse in the chat. There was a line in here somewhere. He talks about our RMT are going to buy up all the land and live like kings. There was a line in here. Purchasing land or housing using gil obtained from RMT or other illicit means is strictly prohibited. Any land or estate hall deemed to have been purchased through such means is subject to seizure. So the fact that they even have that listed is like...
I'm going back to the premise that, SE, if you want to take money out of the economy, sell more houses at less price.
Absolutely.
That way everybody gets to do the freaking content, and everybody's happy, and you still get your gil out of the economy. This is ridiculous.
And you look at
I'm really kind of upset about
You look
this,
at the items being introduced in this patch. The majority of it is furniture. And you consider, okay, well, how do we get this furniture? You get it from doing quests, getting points, turning those in through store NPCs or grant company seals, or by crafting. With Darklight and Allegan gear, crafters need something to do again. Housing would be great, except nobody's going to buy the furniture because nobody can afford a house. And if they do afford a house, then they don't have money to buy furniture.
And if they do afford the house, they've already got crafters that clearly have made that money somehow, so they have the crafters to make the houses and stuff.
The economy is so
made
screwed in this game.
An interesting point earlier. They had to pay people to design these houses and design this furniture. And they lost money there. Well, not lost, but they put out their money there. It went away. It is spent. It is gone. And nobody's actually going to be able to do the content. It's a waste of money for them. You get what I'm saying?
But there's a little bit of funny logic that I said. So, if they put out this content, they lost the man hours obviously making this content because and very, very few people are going to be able to afford this. So some people are going to RMT this. And had they not put that warning in there, more people would.
Yeah.
But anyway, people are going to RMT for this, which means that those people are going to get banned, which means they're going to lose sub money, and RMT is going to end up winning this entire patch because they're going to make money for the people that are going to get banned for buying their housing, which is going to get seized, which just means more people are going to buy their housing through RMT. It's just a terrible cycle.
If you buy a small piece of land and then at some point along in the future you have enough money to buy a medium, what do you do with your small piece? Can you sell that?
I don't believe you can sell the free company housing.
How does
Well, here's and this is where I'm a little confused too, because they talk about how you buy the plot, but then there's mention where you have to buy the house too.
Mm-hmm.
How much is the house?
Well, they said it would be much less.
It's a couple million total.
So on top of, if you're on this first group here, you're already spending the 4 mil for a small house, okay, or for the small plot, and then you need to cut another few mil for the house on top of that. Like it's a mess. It's like those hidden costs, man. They get you. I can see somebody buying the plot and then they can't afford the damn house. So they're like, well, we'll put a bench in the yard and we'll just kind of everybody meet at the bench.
So your circle of like Garuda, Ifrit, and Titan furniture.
It's gonna be like that period of time in Scrubs where JD owned this plot of land and all he had was like a porch. There wasn't a house. It was just a porch and a tent on the porch. That's gonna be a lot of people's free company housing.
Suddenly we're those refugees we
were
talking
know
about earlier.
Yeah.
Just pile our crap up.
Yeah.
All right.
That's enough about housing.
Square you need to cut the prices in at least.
That's crazy.
This is crazy.
Yep.
Okay. Crystal Tower.
I don't even want to talk about Crystal Tower. You guys have that.
The thing I want to point out just before we get into the obvious is they've talked about getting us tomes for doing this stuff. We don't know how many of those we're going to get, so it's not going to be like a complete waste, right? We know we'll at least still get tomes. Well, just it's not, you know what I mean though, like it's not like you don't get nothing from doing this. right?
You really do, because you can get that content easier and more quickly elsewhere. Therefore, no one is going to be doing this content for the tomes, which means that is not a bonus to this content.
Well, my free company was really excited about having 24-man content because we all like to play together.
Well, you're not gonna.
We don't play together in groups of
You're
4
not gonna. So.
Yeah, you can't.
No.
You might if you're lucky, but no. Well, to be fair, they've said for this patch you won't be able to.
It's one of those things. They know people are gonna want to do it, and they just couldn't get it done.
Start with that.
This content was supposed to come out with the release of the game, and they didn't have raid UI ready for something that was supposed to come out in the beginning of the game. Like, they didn't think that they were gonna have more than a single party in an instance from like the beginning of creating this game. I mean, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
And it still isn't ready. Like, they pushed it back a patch, and it's still not ready.
Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate, because I guess it needs to happen a little bit. Even though I totally agree with you. They remade a game in kind of a small amount of time. So you could see where that might happen, but at the same time,
yeah,
you don't have
it's one of those. And I think we were talking about this pre-show where, do you want Crystal Tower now, where you get a group of 8 people together and you duty find it, or do you want it, 3 months from now where you can go in as a free company? It's it's that game of do we want to get this out now and then update it, or do we want to make sure that everything is absolutely perfect, which
never happens anyway.
Right. There's always something that comes up. And which is funny too, talking about, housing and how long it'll take for people to get housing. I can just see some huge bug in housing being in the game for months and nobody finds it because nobody's been able to do the content.
Man.
And the whole, we're going backwards here to easier content than Coil. Most people that I know, are pugging Coil at least turns 1 and 2,
yeah.
And lots of people are getting through turn 4 at this point. Why are we putting caps on gear from stuff that's going to be a whole 10 levels, item levels?
Well, and here's the thing too, even if they're not pugging Coil, because I know not everybody is up to that stage, there's some more casual people out there, obviously. But especially with the new content with Duty Roulette, with Crystal Tower, that's something that'll be accessible to a lot of people. They'll be getting Myth Tomes, which means they'll be getting item level 90 gear, which means they're not going to need the Crystal Tower gear. So
if its purpose is to fill in like some gaps, like let's say I've got Dark Light legs still on my.
That's the only use I see for it right now.
Okay, sure. But in 1 week I'm going to have those legs, so Crystal Tower, again, is pointless. Like, maybe they'll get me by for a week or something, but you have content out already that's better than the content you're limiting.
Yeah.
It's a very poor choice. And an interesting thing was brought up in our TeamSpeak a little bit earlier. If you only get 1 piece per week, what stops me from going in there, getting my piece on the first boss, and then just bailing from the Duty Finder? Like, because, I can't, there's no purpose for me to stay there. Mm-hmm. If it's Myth Tombs, like I said a few moments ago, why don't I just go do WP speedruns instead? And, the content is completely moot already. It's just for, and it's not just moot for, like, people that are doing Coil, it's almost moot for the people that haven't even gotten to 50 yet, because all they're going to do is start getting Myth by doing the Duty Roulette, and they're going to buy gear better than that.
Yeah.
It's not a good system at all. I really would like to see the entire lockout system either removed completely, because who really cares if I have Bard, Black Mage, Paladin, and Summoner in full Allegan by 2.2? Really, does it break the game that I have 4 jobs in Allegan instead of 1? No. So I'd like it either completely removed, or at the very least, allow us to go in and have a cap on each one of our jobs that we have at 50. That way I can gear more than one thing. And I wrote this up, and it's silly, but why do you tout a game that allows me to play multiple classes and jobs if I'm forced and pigeonholed into playing 1?
Yeah.
Because of your lockouts, because of your lockout system. It is a very, very terrible contradiction to the base gameplay that you have set up in this game.
And in the live letter too, there was a question and I didn't see it yet because I was working. I did record it though, so I'll watch it later. But a friend of mine was telling me they were talking about Crystal Tower and they were talking about loot restrictions. And a question was posed to Yoshida. Well, what happens if you are in Crystal Tower and you're like the last one in there or the last to pass or whatever, and it falls to you? Like, is that your item for the week? And you just kind of was like, face palming like crap. Like, yeah, probably. Which, shows how amazing the system is right there, I think. So.
Yep.
I was brought up.
If you do the first boss in the dungeon and everybody passes and you're the last person to pass, it falls to you automatically, and there's your item. Yep.
In the case of at least my free company, obviously if you're doing this duty finder by yourself, you have to be much more careful. But in the case of going in with a group of 8 that you know, all you have to do to avoid that is make sure that everybody has passed, or at least the last person who's going to be there has already passed before everybody leaves, and then it just falls to the floor.
Yeah. Which is stupid too, because gear shouldn't be falling to the floor in the first place. I mean...
Nope.
And you know what's going to happen is, because this is mostly vanity for the people that are going to be going in here at this point, I think, what's going to happen is nobody wants boots, nobody wants gloves.
I want the bodies,
and nobody wants
and the head.
Everybody wants their body piece and their head piece first. And so the first week, the second week is all going to be run it a billion times until the body piece drops that you want and the head piece drops that you want, or either or.
Yeah.
And other than that, everything's going in the trash. All of it.
For me, I feel like I would take gloves or feet, because nobody else is going to do it, and then I already have it, so that when everybody has already sat through and lost out on everything and has their body and wants the other things, then I can have the body, because I don't really care. This is actually if I wanted any of the gear from Crystal Tower, which I don't like at all.
Yeah.
I don't like the way this stuff looks, except for Monk, and I don't really like to play Monk.
There you go.
Yeah, we went on a long time on those 2 specific issues.
Yeah.
Those are like the issues.
The big ones.
Does anybody have any?
I give it a 75 or an 80 out of 100. Pretty good patch. Those 2 giant things staring at my face kind of hurts me a little bit, but overall,
I have a couple more little things.
Okay.
One of them relates to how we talked earlier. How about we should probably just keep our opinions about class rebalancing, to ourselves for now. I'm not gonna. Adjustments to Summoner.
I just need to say something, guys.
I don't personally play Summoner myself, but several of my friends do, and they're so sad right now. Like, the changes to Virus cuts down some of their utility, not to mention other people's utility who can use that. Obviously, they're trying to switch people who can reduce damage over to Warrior, but it just kind of sucks for them. Loss of Thunder for Summoner is apparently like a huge chunk of damage, just because there's so much about dots. I don't know this myself, but this is what I've been told, and they're very upset.
Well, and we mentioned this this earlier as well, where Bard had Rain of Death changed, and now Warrior has a similar ability. I don't know if Square Enix realizes this, but Bard and in a fairly decent portion here too, Summoner, they're like the support classes. Maybe you should give them good support abilities and not take them away to give them to Warrior, so Warrior can be worth a damn. Like, give Warrior that stuff too, and then that way he can use it if the Bard or if the Summoner doesn't have their stuff up. Like, you shouldn't just take stuff away like that, especially for jobs that you think are support jobs. That's just what I think.
Nope.
No, I agree.
No.
Now the tank has the ability to reduce damage instead of support.
Which
I feel really sad.
in obviously, yeah, because he's going to be up there and in charge of it, and he can determine when he needs that kind of stuff. But why take it away from other classes? Let them still have it, but don't let the stuff stack. It's not that hard.
And a good party with good communication, the Summoner should, or whoever's using Virus, should be using it when they need it.
Right. It's like like with Virus originally. You can't have more than one virus on a mob at a time. So make Rain of Death and make the Warrior thing and whatever. Give the same stat debuff and then let it only have one at a time. It's not rocket science. What the hell are we going to do with evasion crap? Like,
I think
that's as useful as Payon. And for you guys that don't play Bard, it's not useful. Nobody uses it ever. There's no point in having it.
I use it every now and then when my monk is like, hey, can I have some TP? And then I put Payon up for 20 seconds and take it down.
I've never used Payon. Ever. Ever.
If I don't need to use any other song and the melees happen to notice that, then they're like, hey, can I?
If it's a DPS class that has access to Invigorate and they're running out of TP, they're playing it wrong. They need to change something.
Ooh. would be. I mean, it happens to all of us every now and then.
Yeah.
But I think I misspoke. I was gonna say. I think I might have said that they were taking virus from someone, or they're not doing that. They're just changing how virus works. When you use it on a mob, they get immunity for a minute.
Yep.
So that you can't recast it
Yep.
for a minute, which sucks.
Yep.
And something that I don't like, for me, because of Flaming Arrow,
Yeah.
Flame Arrow and stuff like that will
It
not wake up
makes
Sleeping
it
Fog.
makes sense because I
It
mean,
makes sense,
if
but I like that it did.
logically, if you're standing in a circle of fire underneath you, you're probably not going to be sleeping. So I mean that makes sense. One of my things here was they are reducing the bonus XP for HQ turn-ins on crafting leaves.
What?
Yeah. I kind of, depending on the amount of the reduction, I may not level any other crafting ever. Because that was, I could go in, I could focus on HQ, which obviously is good in and of itself, because that gives you a bonus to XP. But those HQ turn-ins, actually, for me, a person that hates crafting in MMOs, that stuff made crafting bearable for me. And if that
Just hit the automatic crafting
if that just
stickers.
gets completely, hammered, then I'm not going to care about crafting anymore. Which is fine anyway, because the economy is shit now anyway. So, whatever. I'll furnish my house with all Grand Company stuff and Beastman stuff, and it'll be good when I get it in
That's
5
not-
years
not
after
a
I
good
save up the
outlet.
money.
So whatever.
Whatever, you guys.
You have something else, Mark?
Did we have anything else?
No.
I think we're done.
No, I'm
No.
good.
He's like,
Like I said,
I'm
no.
already mad.
I rant and I rave and I go off on stuff like that really bother me because I really just in the end want to play with my friends and I want to be able to get loot. And what's fun for me, obviously isn't what's fun for everybody else, but what's fun for me is going and completing content that's difficult, or maybe not difficult, but getting rewarded through gear and achievements and that kind of stuff and money. And as of right now, the way I see this game going, I'm not able to play with more than 7 of my friends at any given point because of lockouts. I'm not allowed to get more than 1 piece of gear a week from certain dungeons because of silly lockouts. And I'm not allowed to go back and help my friends get their gear because of silly lockouts. And so I feel like this is, and I posted this on the forums the other day, it's a Monday night raiding with 7 of your friends Final Fantasy 14 video game. I don't feel like, there's a lot to do, but I've done all that stuff. Admittedly, I have a lot more time than other people do put into this game, but I think that people are going to slowly come into this endgame scene and realize, I'm just doing this once a week, and this is silly.
Yeah.
So that's my piece, and I do really enjoy the game, but that stuff bothers me because I want to play with
I just want to decorate a house. That's all I wanted out of patch 2.1. Like, obviously, yeah, I want to do Crystal Tower. Like, I think that's going to be really cool to go into with the music and the setting. PvP, I'm not a huge PvP guy, but I'll definitely want to check it out. Tonberry Minion, totally getting that thing, however you get it. I don't know. Hopefully it's not like the Bluebird thing all over again. But I really like housing.
Actually giving us like a picture.
In 11, I decorated the hell out of my Mog house. Like, I had full Mog, full everything. Like, I physically couldn't put any more out in my Mog house. And so for, this housing with, it's, a newer system, so it's got a lot more freedom with it, how you can play stuff. And I was so excited for that. And now with the pricing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty sharp contrast coming from a game that Square Enix made where every single person gets a house to where almost nobody is going to get a house.
Yeah. Yep.
Do I even want to talk about these silly things that I noticed?
Yes.
I did, okay. I noticed for PvP this is cool and everything, but I noticed they changed Shadowbind from 12-second recast to 40-second. Who uses Shadowbind? Seriously.
You will in PvP.
I actually
if I bother with PvP.
I actually use Shadowbind.
Yeah, but you didn't use it outside of Shadowbind, did you? I mean, maybe for the Tonberry and the speedrun in WP, you use Shadowbind.
That's where I run in WP. I'll do it because sometimes depending on where everybody else, where the whole party is with, kind of crowd controlling that group of mobs before like Halidom, I'll run in there and I'll just bind the guy so that way he's not over there hammering on me the whole time and I'm dying while they're still over there trying to sleep the mobs. That way he's claimed a thing is queued up and they can still get over there and nobody dies.
Right, that's a good point, that it is useful, but when is it ever useful more than once every 40 seconds? That's the real question.
No. Does it do damage? Like, would you just like pop it off for damage? I don't.
There is no damage.
Yeah. So then who cares?
No
yeah.
post.
Okay. Yeah. Not a big deal then.
I don't know. I never use it. I am never in a situation where I need to use it. The parties that I go with handle things fine without Shadowbind. Maybe I'll screw around and try that, and they'll be like, "Oh, that was better." But I don't.
Yeah. I mean, there's uses for it, but they're very, very situational. It's not something that you're gonna be breaking out a lot. So it's like Payon. It actually probably has more uses than Payon does, but
I've used it more than I've used
Payon
it.
hate. So much hate for Payon.
Payon would be fine. Just get rid of the 20% debuff and I'll use it.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty much.
There you go.
They listed in there. This goes back to what we were saying in the beginning, where it's just things are like missing or wrong. The effects of the following actions can now be overwritten by the original caster, regardless of the difference in potency. And then there's no list.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. Yeah, and then
There's no list. I mean, obviously, it's debuffs that where you use a buff on the debuff, and it's stronger. And when you say, for example, Venom Arrow, you go to use it again, it doesn't stack over it because it's not as strong.
Well,
as the
then
initial one.
with
I guess now it will.
with Bane now too. I forget the exact wording, but it's basically if you use Bane, and one of those mobs already has that debuff, it won't reset the timer on it. Which is stupid.
I mean, it's a good fix, but where's the list, guys?
It's just, yeah, there's some stuff in here you're just kind of like, what, really? So, I mean, obviously with this being, the first big content update for Final Fantasy XIV 2.0, there's going to be issues. There always are with MMOs. They're going to have to patch something a couple days afterwards. And, after everything is stabilized, they're going to look into this and see how people are using things, see what needs adjusting, and then we'll get a hot fix. It's just a matter of, how long it takes for people to figure out, oh, hey, this is like really OP, or, stuff like that. So, we'll just have to wait and see. Get our hands on everything and try it out for ourselves.
I think we should end on a good note, because we just went on like a rant about bad stuff. And we started
This game sucks, pricing sucks, houses suck.
Because really, the game is fun, and it is awesome.
It is fun.
And
I
am
like
having
my
a blast
job.
playing this game.
I'm glad nothing happened to me.
Yeah.
Of course, people are going to be more vocal about the stuff they don't like than the stuff
Oh, sure.
they like.
Yeah. Welcome to the internet.
I know. So I'm glad we at least talked about the things that we do like, but I think we should end on a good note, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's going to about wrap us up. Do you guys have anything else you want to throw out here before we do this?
There was some mention of, obviously, nothing written anywhere, but mention of things like Musketeer. Oh, look, the guild's there. That's the thing we're going to put in next.
If you actually go back and watch the 2.1 trailer, there is a Musketeer mob in Pharaoh Sirius. It looked like it might have been a boss. I don't know. It was in a kind of a circular room. Yeah.
I'm hoping they sneak Musketeer in like 2.2.
Yes.
Maybe.
They're just like, here you go.
Hey, by the way,
They have a habit of that.
but you can only get it if you buy a house.
Oh my god.
So nobody will be Musketeer.
It'll be like the super elite class. It'll be like Onion Knight in FF3. Like it'll suck at level 1, but it'll be like the best thing in everything at level 50.
If Square Enix had their hand in RMT's pockets and they did that, they'd be fucking rich.
All right. You can contact us, guys. You can email us at aimescape.com. Questions, comments, anything like that, we'll read them on the air. We are also on Twitter at Aetheryte Radio. Retweets are appreciated, obviously, and questions and comments there as well. You can check out our Final Fantasy XIV wiki over at gamerscape.com, the #1 Final Fantasy XIV wiki on the web. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And I think we'll try and get something out next week with some patch 2.1 impressions. So have a good week and enjoy the patch, guys.
Bye.
Peace.